Now, I wish I could tell you that there is a magic word or a magic button where you can click and all of your problems that you will encounter in developing Android apps will all be solved. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, and that's never going to work that way. Sorry, that is just the pure truth. As you start developing application or developing in general, you will always run into issues. Now, in the beginning, it is very frustrating. I should say it will always be frustrating. But as you learn more, as you become more experienced, you will see that this frustration always ends well. Meaning that as you keep learning about development, Android development, in the beginning, everything is hard. Just like in anything in life. In the beginning, you don't know things, so everything is really hard, it's very frustrating. You want to just give up and move on. But I want to encourage you to keep the hope. So whenever you are running into issues, know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are learning, or even developers who have been developed for years, such as myself. We run into issues and we panic, we cry, we throw things around the room and all this stuff. Well, I'm not that angry, but you get the idea, right? So I just wanted to let you know that you're not alone. But the most important thing about being able to develop is being able to understand that all the problems you're going through, you can get help. There's no reason to spend weeks, if not even months, trying to figure something out in this day and age, because there's a lot of help out there. Now, how do you help yourself as an Android developer in this case, but this is also applicable for any programming language, for any type of development? Well, you need to find answers when stuck. So we have established that. When you're stuck, you need to get answers. Now, how do you get answers? Well, Google is indeed your best friend. The beauty nowadays is that we have internet access, we have Google, we can ask a question, any kind of question we want. We should get the answers we are looking for 99.9% of the time. Now, of course, there are a lot of websites out there on the internet where you can just type and get the answer you want. Most likely, whenever you search something on Google, programming related, you will end up at stackoverflow.com. This is where you're going to be living for the most of your development time. And there's no shame in admitting that Stack Overflow or the internet, whenever we are stuck, that's where we go to for help. Most people may feel as though they shouldn't admit that they need help, or they use Stack Overflow or Google in general when they're stuck. Okay, even the best developers out there, they get stuck and they need help. So don't feel ashamed. There's no shame in asking for help in Stack Overflow. Let's go ahead and look at how we should formulate our questions when we type them in the browser, which usually leads us to Stack Overflow. How do we type so that we get the correct answers, or at least close to correct answers? Let's go ahead and take a look. So imagine you have a question, you're stuck in a problem. Let's say your app crashed and the error was something related to activity. So the way I would approach asking this question is I would type something like this: Android, and I usually add the plus sign, and I say activity not showing, and then hit enter. The moment you do that, voila, you can see the first hit I get is indeed stackoverflow.com. And there we go. I have a few others there, but Stack Overflow is usually the best place. So I'm going to go click on that answer, or link I should say, and you can read the question that the person asks. But the great thing about Stack Overflow is that the questions are rated as well as the answers. So that way you know what advice is the best to follow. So you can try it out yourself and see if that resolves your issue. It's always a good idea to read the question so that you can see whether this applies to you, the problem you're trying to solve, and look at the code, okay? And if you scroll down, keep scrolling down, you're going to see people starting to answer. In this case here, answer number 1, it says you should add this theme that no display inside of our Android manifest. Or in this case, removing that, whatever. This one only had one answer, and you can see it was upvoted once. So you can go ahead and try if this is the issue you're having and see if it works. But you look at the right here, there's also other questions that are related to Android in this case, so related to the question you've asked. For instance, so how to save an Android activity state using save instance. you can see there's over 2,000 people who voted to this question. So if you click here, you'll see a better example. Look at this. This was upvoted over 2,000 times, meaning a lot of people had this question and they actually said, this is an upvote because I already would like to know the answer to this. All right. If you scroll down, most likely you will see that there is indeed an answer. There's this green tick mark there. Okay, so now you know this should be the answer, correct answer, because there's over 2,000 upvoted of people saying, yes, this worked for me, so this should be the correct answer. It's always a good idea to also read other answers below because those are comments to this main answer. Now, the other thing you notice here is that there is the person who edited or the person who answered it to the right. Now, Rito Meyer, he is actually an Android developer at Google. So he is indeed a very knowledgeable person. So if anything, you should follow this guy. In this case here, you can say Rito was the one who answered this question and David Karyuku was the one also who edited this question. Okay, so go ahead and read everything, all the possible notes and suggestions that people leave on the correct answer so you have a better understanding. Now, also remember, you can go straight to Stack Overflow instead of going through Google, right? But you can do the same thing. Just type the question in Google, and then most likely it's going to take you to Stack Overflow. While you're here, you can also search for other answers or questions. In this case here, whenever I come here, it's a good idea to put our queries inside of square brackets like that. So I can say Android, I'm going to close, and I'm going to say something like activity passing information or passing data, something like that. Hit enter, and voila, you're going to see there's all sort of questions and answers. So this one looks like has 12 answers. You can click on here, and voila, it says exactly how to do that. This, my friends, should be your place where you play, because this is where a lot of big time developers and other people all over the world come to ask questions and also answer questions. Again, there's no shame in looking for help, because even the top of the top developers in the world, they also get stuck, and this is where they come to get help.